It has been more than 3 years since the South Island started seriously planning to treat the sewage that we flush every day. This week, the politicians in charge are going to be a step closer to making one of the biggest infrastructure project decisions on Vancouver Island and making it a reality. It is going to be expensive. You are going to feel it in your wallet. And that is why a group of dedicated opponents of treatment are still trying to convince the province and the region to think twice. A-News Legislature reporter Saanich joins us with the story. Saanich.
Hudson, the South Island, has been debating this issue for decades and certainly the better part of 20 years. Tonight, the issues are the same: money and science. Familiar activists under a new banner, fighting a cause they say is not yet lost.
For those of you who think the debate is over, think again.
They're protesters dead set against secondary sewage treatment in the Capital Regional District. Tomorrow, CRD board members are expected to decide where exactly they'll build treatment plants. The protesters want them to slow down.
And all I'm looking for, quite honestly, is for people to take a second look at this.
BC's Environment Minister told the CRD to come up with a plan 3 years ago, and Barry Penner says it's time to move on.
I understand some people may wish we lived in the 19th century, but this is the 21st century, and it's time to get on with sewage treatment.
That's not washing with those who believe Victoria's ocean currents disperse the pollution we flush.
Why not save some money by just accepting that what our deep sea outfalls are doing is very effective?
There has been numerous studies undertaken which concluded that on a go-forward basis, the current arrangement, which is a lack of sewage treatment and 40 billion litres a year of raw sewage being dumped out into the Strait of Juan de Fuca, was simply not appropriate or sustainable.
It might be impossible to convince those who don't accept the science behind secondary sewage treatment, but now politicians will have to get taxpayers on side, and that could be difficult considering the average tax bill could increase by hundreds of dollars. In the capital, the increase per household is between $250 and $450. It's more in Oak Bay, less in Saanich.
So when you put that in perspective, how much you pay each year to have your garbage taken and moved away, how much it costs for fire, police, for roads, for pools, you recognize that that's cost of living in an urban society.
And then there's the fight over sites. Colwood didn't want one at Royal Bay and has decided to go it alone. In Esquimalt, the mayor is not in favor of an abandoned oil tank farm at McLaughlin Point. And that is what the CRD is proposing, unless Victoria manages to convince owners of this industrial land to sell. Then there's Saanich. Neighbors there are fighting to save undeveloped land owned by the CRD and put plants at UVic instead.
I hope everybody can at least go out and see Harrow Woods and see what's going to be affected.
The protesters are hoping a post-election, post-Olympic BC government will lose interest in this project. The CRD must deliver plans to the province by December 31st. And Hudson, while it may be the hope of the anti-treatment activists that the BC government will simply abandon plans for sewage treatment, Environment Minister Barry Penner is vowing that won't happen. He says money won't be an issue because the money that the province and the federal government have set aside for secondary sewage treatment come from a different pot than all of the other dollars that we're noticing cut and tightened in these tough economic times.
All right, Saanich reporting. Saanich, thanks.
You're welcome.